Hey, what's up, guys? It's Tommy here, and I'm a black Latino man living in Florida. Happy Pride. So, I thought I would take this moment to share a couple of moments of joy with you. Things in my life that have caused me massive either gender euphoria or just, bright times in my life, especially during Pride Month, especially during this Pride Month, where we have so much like unnecessary backlash. It's like crazy, but it's okay. It's all right. So, story number one. I would say one of the most happiest times in my life, right? Down to the T. I have three that I can really say that when I think about these moments, that actually bring me joy, bring a smile to my face. The first thing was when I got my top surgery. That day, I literally felt so elated, so like like if I had this massive tension on my body, and it finally left. Like finally, I have been doing so many things to be able to feel good in my body, and this was just like the last of it. It was beautiful. It was, I can't describe the feeling, but I was so happy. I was so happy. I had 4 years sober under my belt when I went, but yeah, about 4 years sober under my belt before I went to go have the surgery. And I had to work about 3 jobs for a good 6 months, 6 to 8 months to be able to do it. So it was like go to work, right? My first job, and because I was still working as a personal trainer in the gym, I would go to work on my first job. Then on my break, I had like a 4 hour break. So I would go to work to the second job, come back to the first job, right? And on the weekends, I would work another job, right? So I literally worked from morning to night for 6 months straight. If I had a moment or two to work out, I would also do that. Let's say if like a client canceled or something, I would take that moment to go work out. And all the money from my part time jobs I put away, right? And I just lived with my first time, my full time. So I was able to put away a lot of money fairly quickly. And my parents who supported me were not willing to pay for my surgery or help me with that at all. So that was a complete 100% me project. I think I tried to do a GoFundMe like once, but to be quite honest with you, that's not the way that I roll. So it didn't happen, and I didn't the entire time. And so I got to the surgery. My mom actually took me, and I was there with my friend and my dad, and I was just like, you know, my chest had been a source of contention for a long time. You couldn't even hug me without me getting like super tense. So I was like so happy to let this go. And then once I let it go, and what I'm about to tell you, I'm not exaggerating. I had another 5 years of gender euphoria. All right, because as soon as I got my top surgery and I was clear to start like doing heavy workouts, I maybe had gone up to like 30% body fat and like worked my way up down to like 12, basically. Just walking around ripped all the time. Like I worked at the beach, so during my lunch breaks and stuff, I'd go out with my boys and we'd go out to the beach together and work out outside. And I was able to take my shirt off. It was just a really good time for me. And then like maybe 6 months after surgery, somebody came up to me and like, "Oh man, dude, you're looking really good. You should compete." And so that leads me to my second story of euphoria. So I decided to compete right after checking out if I could. I didn't want to break any rules or break any hearts or get in trouble. So I found out that I could. And right around that time, we had a new coach that was training at my gym that was a professional bodybuilder. So I'm like, man, hey, dude, can I want to compete? Can you train me? And he's like, yeah, but you have to be able to go through this particular leg workout with me. Man, I think he was literally trying to kill me that day, but he didn't. Then I survived. I remember the workout. That's how much that workout was insane. I had worked out hard, but I've never worked out that hard ever before in my life. But I really wanted it. I really wanted to compete. I wanted to show what myself what I could do, and not only that, but then we had a man by the name of Sean Stinson, and he was the first trans guy to win the International Transgender Association bodybuilding show. Like he was the first, and I looked at the show, and I arrogantly, this is arrogantly, and I will confess to that. Looked at him, and I was like, homeboy didn't get any real competition, and I'm gonna bring him all the smoke, all the smoke. I didn't want to compete. I wanted to compete against guys at my level, and I wanted to be in a space where me being trans or not was not a big deal. But I was gonna use a NPC show to get my foot wet, right? So with that NPC show, there were five guys competing in classic physique, and then four guys competing in the men's physique, and I did both categories to see where I would do the best. Now, honestly, I thought that I did better in men's physique. I got third place out of four guys, so it's not that big of a deal for me. I do remember guy number four getting really upset and making a lot of self-deprecating memes. But while he was making self-deprecating memes, he was also trying to insult me at the time, which he was just making himself look dumb. Because I'm like, bro, like you didn't come in with it. You could have beat me. Like you have an advantage over me. So I don't understand why this is an issue. But I came in that show like really ripped and really ready to go, and that was great. And then I went to the Trans FitCon and competed there. I won my class and then won the overall. And that I beat a couple of guys. So and that was still sweet and I was happy. And it was a great time because I was around a lot of other trans folks and trans allies and powerlifters. We met Janae Kroc, and there was Sean actually showed up to the show, but he got sick, so he couldn't compete. And I was disappointed about not being able to compete against him, but but it was still a good time. And that's two stories. Let's see, story number three. Story number three happened a little before my dad died, but it caused a lot of euphoria for me, you know. So I never really forced my hand with my family. If my mom and dad wanted to tell people, excuse me, wanted to tell people that I was trans, they could. If they did not want to, then I know I didn't really press the issue. But I mean, you always have this like thing in your back of your mind. You wonder if your parents are proud of you. They are happy that you're their child. Like I don't care who you are, you may have this. All right, this is not a trans thing or anything. So, as a part of you, especially if you had a good upbringing, that you want to make your mom and dad proud. But I also understood the type of work that my dad did and the circles that he was in, and how maybe for him he couldn't say things about me, and I totally got that. And I think that that's where religious people tend to hurt families, but that's a whole different other topic and other conversation. We'll get that some other time. So it was on one of his Facebook lives preaching. He talked about having a trans son and what that was like for him as a pastor, and that brought me so much joy because I feel like we were both free at that point. He was free to express his entire life in and be authentic with his listeners, and I was just being like more free as it is because honestly, the fact that I'm on here even making a YouTube video or even that I have some kind of public life that states who I am authentically, that I am a trans man and I'm queer and all these other things, having the religious upbringing that I had, that's a big win for me. I still fight. I still fight the habit of wanting to be stealth or wanting to be in the closet or thinking that the closet is a more safe space for me. When in all actuality, it just hurts my mental health in a different way. You know. So out does have its downsides for sure. You know, because you're exposed, and sometimes that leaves you vulnerable for negativity. You know, and there's always people who don't understand that they're being vile and negative to you, and there's other people that are being vile and negative to you, somehow think that because you are trans or any part of the LGBT that it's justifiable negativity to throw at you because you are part of the LGBT community. Like they think it's okay to do that, and God bless their souls, you know. But those things bring me joy, joy to go into this world after post transition when you're done medically transitioning and still thrive. It brings me joy to be able to have a family that supports me and can be proud of me. It brings me joy that I can still find happiness in a world that tries to constantly take it away, basically. That's my superpower. Anyway, I hope you guys have a blessed day and happy Pride.